Hey y'all. Hey. Welcome to the Big Weed Podcast. This is episode 3, season 6. I know I say this every episode, but today's conversation is going to be amazing. Today we are talking to my friend Bertram Williams. He is a urban agriculture warrior, a social entrepreneur, an actor. Most of y'all know him as being an actor. If you are a fan of P-Valley, Bertram plays Woadie on P-Valley, everybody's favorite manager. We are going to have a great conversation today. So, we're going to talk about love and acting and vegetables and all kind of amazing things. But first, I've got some terrible news today, y'all. I mean, it's not terrible news. Let me not act like that because it's a circle of life. It's a circle of life. But since we spoke last, we've had some very significant passings in our kind of artist community. And I'm going to start off by just honoring and sharing and talking about the folks who we've lost. I think the first person that we lost was Sergio Mendes. I know a lot of people don't know who he is, but I can't have this episode without talking about Sergio Mendes because Sergio Mendes was like in my house quite a bit when I was growing up. And even as a young adult and like all the work I did in the music industry, Sergio Mendes' music was all the ways around. Sergio Mendes is a Brazilian musician who really popularized Brazilian music. Probably the song that people know the most is The Girl from Ipanema. That was his song. But he also had like a million other incredible songs. And so if you've never heard his music, go listen to Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66. And we thank him for his music and his art and all his contributions that he made to the things in our ears. Oh, this one is hard. I don't want to say this one out loud. James Earl Jones died. Oh! Now, everybody knows how much I love art and theater and film and music. But James Earl Jones is like such a pillar in acting, in theater, and film. But on top of that, James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader. Y'all know how I feel about Star Wars. Just losing James Earl Jones was a lot for me. All the way, like, I feel like people in 2024 don't actually understand the depth of his contribution. And everybody knows he was Mufasa's voice, and everybody knows that he was Darth Vader. But I don't think that people understand how revolutionary James Earl Jones's career was in the work that he did early on, the TV work he did, the film work he did, the theater work he did. The theater was like his first love. He was an incredible stage actor. And so I want to encourage you to really dig a little bit deeper. And then did you all see that the Empire State Building, on the day he passed, they changed the entire face of the Empire State Building into a portrait of Darth Vader in his honor? It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It was amazing. There were so many things to honor him online. It was really beautiful to see the outpouring especially from the actors. Like the Black actors went all out for James Earl Jones. It was amazing. And finally, just a day ago or so from when we're taping, we lost Frankie Beverly. Frankie Beverly, listen, the closest people to me in my life are devastated. My sister called me crying, okay, about Frankie Beverly. My bestie, I told her had to break news to her, and she was tore up. Frankie Beverly is like, it's like losing your uncle. Honestly, it's like we lost Uncle Frankie. Everybody's favorite uncle that always brings the jams, that always brings the sunshine, that always brings the joy, and always brings a fresh fly white outfit to the cookout. So spend the rest of your day listening to Frankie Beverly. Go ahead and let yourself feel the joy of his music, because if you want to feel good, you put on some Frankie Beverly music. You cannot go wrong. Do you hear me? So we just want to honor those 3 souls. We want to honor those 3 men's lives and their work and their contributions. We want to honor the fact that they were human beings and they were complex and they had things that we could critique. They had things that we could celebrate. We don't expect them to be perfect, but we're grateful for their lives, and we're grateful for all that they gave us. Man, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Let's see what else we want to talk about. Oh, I do have some pop three things, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit today because I want to just call out three little music things that you need to be paying attention to that have blown my mind over the past couple of weeks since I saw you last. One, Janet Jackson has announced a Vegas residency. Who's going? Me, I'm going. We're going to Vegas. Woo, woo, let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Vegas. Janet Jackson's like one of the best performers. Y'all better go see Janet in Vegas. I'm going. What else happened? Oh, this is exciting. So, Sade is releasing a new song. It's not a whole album. I know. It's not a whole album. I'm a little bit sad, but I'm so excited that there's going to be a new song. There is an album coming out that is in tribute to the transgender community. And a lot of folks don't know, but Sade's son is a trans man, which is so wild because I remember do y'all know I went on tour with Sade one time? When I was very young, in my youth, I was on tour with Sade, and it was right after she had her baby. So it was this sweet little girl running around the tour, and she now has built out this beautiful musical tribute to her trans son as a part of this project. And I'm super excited to be able to hear the song, and I'm super excited to hear her talk about and love on her son out in public on social media through this music. It's really beautiful and exciting. Are you ready for this next one? I don't think you're ready because I wasn't ready. Yesterday on Instagram, Raphael Sadiq apparently is working on new music with D'Angelo. What? Did you hear me? D'Angelo is making new music and Raphael Sadiq is producing it and might be playing bass on it. And Raphael Sadiq said that D'Angelo is doing very well and that he is making amazing music and the music is gonna come out. Now, let's just say it's D'Angelo, so we're not expecting it to come out tomorrow. It's probably going to take him a little while to put it out because D'Angelo be taking forever. But we're just excited that it's coming, right? We're just going to be excited and we're going to be hopeful and we're going to pray on it. We're going to wait. We're going to sit here with patience, breathlessly waiting for these new songs because I already know they're going to be great. Great. Okay. Pop three, let's do our pop three. I definitely said last week that I was never doing the air horn again, and I totally lied. I can't help it. I like the air horn. It's a cultural meme. What can you do? Okay, pop three. Let's see. Number one on pop three. Natasha Rothwell. Do y'all know she has a new album coming out? Do you know who that is? So Natasha Rothwell was the funniest one on Insecure. What was her name on Insecure? I forgot her name. Oh, well, you'll know who I'm talking about. Natasha Rothwell was on Insecure. She was the most funny one. She was the one that was a little bit crazy. You'll know who I'm talking about if you watch it. She also was on White Lotus. And do you know she started her career off as a writer for Saturday Night Live, which I did not know that until this morning. So Natasha Rothwell has a production company. The production company is called Big Hattie Productions, and it is named after Hattie McDaniels, who was the first Black woman to win an Oscar. She was in that movie with Gone with the Wind. I was about to say something real crazy, but I caught myself. She was, yes, there you go. We're going to move on. Yes, so Natasha Rothwell's production company is called Big Hattie Productions, and she has a new show coming out called How to Die Alone. It should be out by the time this airs, so you gotta, if you haven't already watch it tonight. The previews look hilarious because Natasha Rothwell is hilarious and brilliant and wonderful. And so we're going to watch that. She plays a woman who worked in the airport, sidekicks and all those things. Is going to be amazing. And also, P.S., Natasha Rothwell's production company, Big Hattie, also just announced that they are going to be producing the television version of Who the F Did I Marry? Do y'all remember that girl, Risa Tisa, who a few months ago, she had that crazy escapade on TikTok talking about this man that she should have never married, but we're not going to get into that. This man that she married, and he turned out to be a complete and utter fraud. And there was this big rush to be like, who's going to put it on TV? Well, Natasha Rothwell, not only will she be producing this show, the TV version of Who the F Did I Marry, but she's also going to be starring in it as Risa Tisa. Starring as Risa Tisa, and we're excited. So Natasha Rothwell is having a big, fancy, wonderful life right now with her Big Hattie production. So just make sure you watch How to Die Alone. Second, I am so excited about this. Ryan Michelle Betha and Sterling K. Brown, America's favorite couple. Y'all know Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us and Black Panther. His wife, Ryan Michelle Betha, is from First Wives Club and Endgame. They are starting a podcast. I'm so excited. So during the pandemic, Ryan and Sterling would do these Instagram lives, and they would just be on there being together and talking and laughing and playing. And one day Ryan was braiding Sterling's hair, just like a glimpse into their conversations. And it was super, super entertaining, super engaging, super like insightful, and really great conversations. And now they're going to have a podcast. The podcast is called We Don't Always Agree. The first episode is already up. It's incredible and entertaining and insightful and super fun. They're the best. So I cannot wait to hear more episodes from them. So you make sure you check that out. And then I'm doing something I never did before. Literally, this has never happened on 6 seasons of the Big We podcast, but I am double dipping a Pop 3. So last episode, we talked about Blink Twice. And Blink Twice, if you remember, is a movie that just came out a few weeks ago that was directed and written by Zoe Kravitz, daughter of everyone's used to be favorite couple, Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. And I was like, I'm going to go see it, but I don't want to because I think it's going to be scary. I don't like scary movies. And I was just talking mad junk about this movie. And I was like, I'm going to go see it and tell you how it was. And I went to see the movie. I think I went that night. And this was I don't know how to talk about it without telling you just what happened in the movie. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to have a spoiler alert here. However, I think it's really important that we all go see it. It's not in the theater so much, so you might have to catch it online and stream it, which it might be better to stream it at home anyway because it's a heavy movie, but it really is. Oh, I should tell you what it's about because I should give you a little trigger warning is that there is some essay in it. And so it's important for you to know that going in case you have triggers around sexual violence. But the way that she talks about what happens to this woman and this group of women is so insightful and so gentle, but still very jarring, and has so much commentary and so many threads and so much intricacy. Like it is one of, if not the most powerful yet delicate conversations I've had about women's empowerment inside their own bodies and women's safety. And I'm muting myself because I don't want to say too much because I really want you to see it and I want you to like have the experience of seeing the movie. But what I do want to say is like the movie's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. The writing, the directing, the cinematography, the casting, the storytelling. It is magnificent and also very difficult. So I just want you to like get ready to see it, but make sure you see it and then call some people and talk to them about it. And like, if you want, you can call me and you can talk to me about it because I wanted to talk about that movie for a week after I saw it. And y'all know you can text me. I have that text number. It's 901-676-7372. So like, if you go see the movie and you want to text with me about it, like, please do, because this movie is, this movie is incredible. And I'm just like, Zoe Kravitz, hats off to you, friend. Hats off to you for the ways that you show up as a leader and a storyteller and a vision caster. Hats off to you. Super, 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 super impressive. Super, super, super proud. And I'm like really looking forward to whatever else Zoe Kravitz is going to put out, because I also didn't know that she was one of the producers and one of the writers. I just thought that she was directing. But that's her story. She wrote that story. She put it on screen. She did all the things. And she, like, for her first time out, it literally could not have been any better. It literally could not have been any better. It was, I'm going to stop. Okay, let me stop. See, because also I feel like I'm Zoe Kravitz's auntie, so I'm a fan and an audience member, but I'm also like, look at our baby. Our baby made a good movie. So go see Blink Twice. Go see it. Go see it. Just go see it. Just go see it. Just go see it. I'm going to stop telling you to go see it one more time. Just go see it, okay? Okay. So we should talk to Bertram now. So y'all know I've probably talked about Bertram before because we've had Bertram's better half, his wonderful wife, Talima Safi, has been on the podcast before, and everybody really loved that episode. So y'all already kind of know about Bertram. Bertram is one of the first people that I ever met when I moved to Memphis. I can remember it so clear. I was sitting at this restaurant called The Beauty Shop in Memphis. It's called The Beauty Shop because it used to be Elvis's mama's beauty shop, and then they turned it into a restaurant. It's delicious if you ever come to Memphis. I was sitting on the patio at the beauty shop, and Bertram walked by, and I was sitting with the guy who I was working with in Memphis, and he was like, Bertram, come meet this lady. And we met, and we've just been friends ever since. Bertram is like such a thoughtful and kind and brilliant person, and also a very thoughtful and kind and brilliant artist and actor and entrepreneur. So I'm excited for you all to get to listen to our conversation today. So I will stop talking so you can listen to Bertram. Here we go. Woo! Okay. Here we go. It's me and you, Bertram.
I don't know.
I'm so excited.
Me too, clearly.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Big We Podcast, Bertram.
Thank you. It is
How are you?
my distinct pleasure to be here with you. I am feeling in this moment like I love you, and I'm happy to be in this space with you. And you know how sometimes like you know a thing, but you need to be reminded of it, and there's nothing like proximity and sharing space to remind
That's right.
me in this moment that I love you.
I was just about to say that my favorite thing is having people that I actually love on the podcast. Because, you know, I love everybody.
Yep.
I'm just a loving person, and I do my best to open my heart as wide as I can for as many people as I can. And also, to your point, proximity creates something different. So there's people who I love where I'm like, oh, I love this person. And I see them once a year, or I've met them twice. And then there's people who I see all the time that love just feels different.
It's cultivated.
And what I am finding, yes, it's nurtured like your crops. But we'll get into that later. Yeah. But it is, what I'm finding is that when we get on the podcast, the conversation is completely different. And we enter into conversations that we don't normally enter into in our normal everyday interaction, right? I had Carmian was on the episode before you.
You know I listened to it.
We had a conversation that I learned something about her that I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. And I, know her since 2020. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to learn what I'm going to learn about you today. Yeah. You know what? Before I say any of that, I would love for you to have a chance to introduce yourself. I don't know how you introduce yourself. There's so many things. You are so many things. How do you convey to people all of the multitudes of who you are?
Wow. So I today would introduce myself as Bertram Williams Jr., an actor and social entrepreneur. I care deeply about people and their healing, and I work to find ways to leverage a multitude of creative practices to support folks' healing. That feels true today.
That sounds right. You know what I've been thinking about all day, Bertram, that I would just love to start with? I've been thinking about your grandpa all day.
Wow.
all day. Like he keeps coming up for me. Oh, there he is right
Yeah.
there. I would love for you to spend a few minutes just talking to us about him and what comes up for you when I mention him because he wants to be on this podcast episode,
Yeah.
honey. He has been in my face all day.
That's so funny. He's been in just a photo that was, I got his obituary with me too, because he passed my grandfather, Benjamin Franklin Lee. We found out his middle name was Franklin at the funeral, by the way. Like, what, granddaddy?
How did he manage to hide that all these years?
It was, I mean, we cousins looking around the church. Oh man, but yeah, I had this photo out, and literally just before this, I found a frame in my spot. I said, "Oh, let me put it in the frame." And so,
Oh, wow.
the fact that you
Wow.
asked to see him, I guess he wanted to be well dressed in photo form. But my grandfather, man, he was such a quiet storm of a man. He carried a lot of power and care, but didn't talk a lot. Especially in his latter years, he struggled with hearing, and what that did though was force me and the rest of the fam to be really intentional about what we shared with him, and in turn, we like had some really powerful insights come through Ben Lee in his latter years. But throughout his life, he is a farmer. I learned that he worked like in some equal employment office in Brownsville, Tennessee, where he's from essentially and raised his family. But he instilled in all of us this really sensitive relationship with nature. And we all have varying relationships with that thing that he put in us. But that is what he represents to me. And so when I'm out and I see a butterfly or I see a tree that I feel like I connect with, or that just really is giving tree on any given day, I think of Ben Lee. You know,
I love that so
yeah.
much.
Oh, and I got to add this because it informs some of the way I show up in like urban agriculture and ag industry spaces. And that, like, he was the first organic farmer I knew, the first man that was like, "Nah, I don't think we need to be putting that shit." He didn't cuss, not to me anyway, but in essence, he would say, I don't feel like we should be putting that shit on our crops, and I'm going to maintain our farmland in this way that is, whether or not he ever said it, was influenced by indigenous practices and indigenous wisdom. And so, yeah, I carry that to this day, and it's just really exciting at this juncture in my life as some of the work that I'm doing in farm spaces is crystallizing in such a way where I'm like actually moving things and making plans, and he is my guiding light in that way.
Yeah. So you would credit him as your entry point into kind of the agricultural work that you're doing for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what does that look like right now in 2024? Because I think the first thing that I ever saw you do was kind of the hood homestead stuff. And I'm curious, like, can you share about that? And then can you talk about how that work has evolved over the years?
Yeah. So, my grandfather was the first person I saw go to the field, like a lot of folks' grandfathers, and cut that watermelon and bring it home for us to eat it hot.
Yeah.
He would take us out when we were young to see the cows. And today, those clues, if you will, of what it looks like and feels like to experience the benefits of food sovereignty, controlling our food source, is what inspired the Hood Homestead work, because just in front of most residential homes, in the way of front lawns, we have what my grandfather had, which is a space to cultivate and produce food that you can bring home to your family. And so that exploration of that possibility manifest in the Hood Homestead, where we converted a 2,000 square foot lot to produce, some summer veggies and all of that good stuff. And what it did was really demonstrate the community's interest in that process of growing food, a community's desire for quality, nutrient dense food, and also, and more importantly, the the power of community coming together around a thing, like literally anything. That front yard garden in the hood, the hood homestead, it brought Mr. Nolan, who was 83 from across the street, the same way it brought young Jackson, who was 7, the same way it brought Bryson, my next door neighbor at 13, to come and just be together, like we started talking about originally, being in proximity. And
That's
so
right.
it
That's right.
but is it's a vehicle in some ways that also produces some fruit, no pun intended.
I think one of my favorite things I've ever seen on your social media is a video of those children like tasting different vegetables for the first
Yeah,
time out of your front yard. It was like still one of my favorite images that I've ever
yeah,
seen of you. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
It's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, it does. It not only brings my heart joy, it makes me feel like we have a chance, right? Because the future be looking
Hmm.
dicey when we think about the broader political climate, but when we kind of get more focused on the power that we have to create
Yep.
experiences like that, and also the
Yep.
power of art and our potential to capture them, to share them, to further promote more inspiration and action. Yeah, I'm super grateful looking back on some of those moments.
I think it's really important for us to acknowledge, especially in this moment, to your point, in our kind of geopolitical moment that we're in. And that's like our election and be like just what's happening in the world is that no matter what's happening and no matter which ways the political winds blow, it's people like you who are really creating the solutions for the future, right? It is like the folks, the artists in particular, I think, who are really innovating in a way that's going to actually save
Mm,
us. It's not going to be. I'm not saying people shouldn't vote, and I'm not saying they shouldn't vote smart. And if you want to know who you should vote for, call me and I'll tell
yeah,
you. And also, I feel like without folks on the ground who are actually creating and innovating solutions in real time in response to real
yeah,
people, then that's actually our real pathway forward. And I'm curious about because what you're doing is so innovative, and the ways that you show up in the agricultural space are unique and new and fresh and exciting. I'm curious about how your relationship to your creativity and who you are as an artist is impacting the way you show up in those spaces.
yeah. Wow. I'm being reminded of one thing, and then I'm gonna get directly to your
Yes,
question. But that was the first time we
let's
met,
go.
Anasa Troutman. The first time I saw your beautiful
Yes,
face. One of the
yes.
things you gave me a few gems just in passing, I guess because you knew we would be here one day. But what you said was that like every person deserves or should have a creative practice, and
Mm,
I've held on to that because what that does is take the onus off of artists specifically. Not suggesting that
that's right.
artists
You better
no,
preach. You better preach.
and that's not trying to relieve us as artists of our duty, but I think what it does, that idea is invite people into this notion
Yes.
that we no matter your station or position or job description have
Yeah.
this mandate to be creative and to think about how we work within or outside of systems that are here, some of them doing what they're supposed to do and some of them ain't. um,
Yep.
but as it relates to my creative practice and how it has informed my relationship with ag spaces, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is this awareness of like art's ability to capture attention. And
Mm.
in 2024, the way attention is crystallized in so many of our like virtual, digital, and social spaces, and how we then leverage those moments that are fleeting to lift up the conversations that are important, like eating local, which to your
Mm.
point is something that we promote and try to showcase in a way that doesn't feel preachy, but also I think what it is doing for like folks who are I would, so there are. literally every farmer in 2024 is now having to think about their social presence and how they can brand a product to sustain their farm business, you know? And so in that way, there's a part of my creative self that feels like I'm capable of adding value to the ag world by helping farmers who are experts in growing shit think about how to grow a following, for example. And so
That's right.
so that's another way. And I guess lastly, and this one is something that I'm really still trying to build up my confidence to lean into fully. But I've created this rap persona that Big Pharma is this character that if I unleash him, will say the things that Bertram is afraid to say. You know what I mean? and hopefully instigate some farm conversations that we need to have through the music and other stuff that character will produce. But those are some ways that I'm looking to.
How did you give birth to Big Pharma?
So Big Pharma was born through a contemporary art exhibit that the Mama Sundry team helped to cultivate in partnership with Tone as a part of the, I think it was the 2022 triennial art exhibition, the statewide exhibition that lifted up or centered the theme of repair. And so our mission was to create an exhibit that pushed people to think about how we can repair our food justice system, or our food system rather. And so in that prep, like somewhere, just because we were consumed by that idea, I was promoting some work with the local nonprofit formerly known as Memphis Till, encouraging people to come buy some local food. And I decided to kind of wrap the ad I created, and boom, Big Pharma was born.
Big Pharma was my favorite. I love it. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant because I feel like one of the big things that we always struggle with is like how to make these concepts and this work relevant and important and exciting and interesting to people. And Big Pharma is brilliant. I want to know, like, what is the one thing that Big Pharma would say that Bertram is scared to say?
Oh my God.
I don't need all of them. I just need one thing, Bertram. Come on.
I'm going to give you one. But first, let me say Big Pharma is in need of a manager. So if you know anybody, wink, wink. Help a brother out.
Copy that. Heard.
But what would Big Pharma say? Big Pharma would say that, can I cuss?
You didn't cuss twice already, okay. Bertram. Yes, you can cuss. We'll put a little E on this episode for crying out loud.
Big Pharma would say that it's really fucked up that people that we trust to make food and goods include poison so as to be able to do it at scale without consideration for the impacts on people and their health. And I don't fuck with that. And I think that not only should folks be called out, but we should be working hard to create and connect with alternatives. How I fit that into 16, I'm still working on that. You know what I'm saying? But that's
I feel like Big Pharma needs to put out at least a mixtape. Come on, Big Pharma. Get it together.
I got 2 or 3 tracks. I don't record a few with Walter down at Sunstorm. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get the papers together. Yeah.
I love it. I want to take a little turn from your career as a rapper to your career as an actor. Yeah. And I know very well that you started your acting career here in Memphis. I'm in Memphis today, right. Which I am not, but in Memphis in theater. Yeah. Talk about that. Why acting? How did you get into that space?
Well, the acting bug bit me. This is twofold. This is really interesting now that I think about it, because based on my having seen my great-grandmother, Bertha Wilbur in particular, but the way that so many of my family members have showed up as like people willing to serve, no matter how small the role. I knew that was a part of or something encoded in my DNA. And additionally, at an early age, I started to consider what it means to be, and I don't mean to be self-aggrandizing when I say this, but I'm trying to be straight up.
It's okay.
To like have charisma, and the relationship I've had with people and groups over time, I think naturally set me on the course to show up and, be willing to stand on top of the table. But it's also always been kind of undergirded by this desire to really like be of use. And my first role was in the church play playing Jesus, where it's like those,
Come on, Jesus!
those two ideas kind of meet in a really funny way. You know what I'm saying? He's somebody who made the ultimate sacrifice. I don't hear nobody.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Come on.
But we were doing a fun art thing, and so I got bit by the bug, and I, went through a series of arts camps where folks were investing in young people, showing them the power of these mediums. Got hooked up with Hollywood Theater, my brother Ekundayo Bandele over there. Again, seeing that intersection, right, of performance and people, of like creation and community. And it's like I've been locked in. I've been 10 toes down in that space ever since.
When I first got to Memphis and I was meeting all these artists, everybody, Bertram, everybody I talked to was like, "Oh, you need to know Bertram. He's the best actor in town.
What?
He's the best actor in Memphis, literally." And I'll be like, "I know him already. Thanks."
I met him first. He's the reason I moved here.
I met him first. Well, okay, now hold on. Don't let Rachel not hear you say that. She'll whoop your butt.
Love Rachel.
But honestly, like the way that you were able to cultivate your craft as an actor in Memphis and so closely align it with just who you are as a human being and who you are as a servant to humanity was like evident to literally every person that I met when I first got to Memphis. And as you know, you were literally like the first person that I met when I was like thinking about moving here. And so like between me thinking, oh, I might move here, to me being like, oh, I'm moving, the number of people who said your name to me was astounding. And I was like, ew, stop sweating him. That's my friend. Get out his face.
That's sweet. I love to hear it. Yeah. And I think it's just because we have such a neat community of folks here. It's like, I'm sure everybody who said my name, like I probably mentioned them to you. And I think that No. No. I'm gonna need you to lean into some of the big pharma energy and just be like, no, I'm dope. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Right? It's okay. Because, people like you, like you're always going to bring the humility and the love and the reverence. And so it's okay for you to have a little ego in there too.
Okay. Well, that's on you and your Leo self.
Just accept the truth.
I'll take it.
Listen.
I'll take it. I'm with you.
Accept the truth of yourself, Bertram. Okay, so now it's so funny because I've known you for all these years and now you're like a little bit famous. It's very strange.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you okay?
You know what? I absolutely am. I think
right on.
The mission, if you will, of like, again, like using whatever gifts God and Creator would bestow upon me to just kind of create more moments like this and share ideas, essentially. I'm here for it. And I can also say that it's been sweet because, like, when I'm out, I do meet people that I would not have met were it not for...
Do people recognize you on the street?
Yeah, Anasa, I can be... Whoa. And it's really trippy when I'm out, like, just in random spots in the world, like leaving a coffee shop in Chicago or at the Buc-ee's in Alabama, and people... like, what's up, bro? What you doing here? And... when I tell you, I love it because it's always love, and I'm here for more of that, more love. Yep.
So for folks who don't know, Bertram is now a season regular on P-Valley, one of the most beloved shows on television. And I want to like pause to talk about P-Valley in particular and how you show up in it, because in my mind, over the last couple of years, P-Valley is doing some of the most, I want to use the word provocative, but that's not the actual real word. I want to say important. Like the conversations and the, what is that word? The archetypes that it's breaking, the conversation, right? The way it's innovating in terms of specifically how young Southern Black people are interacting with each other, and what love and friendship and power and money look like. The way that Katori, who is also from Memphis, for all y'all who don't know, like, is, I have never seen anything like P-Valley before on TV or anywhere else, to be honest. And I honestly only started watching it because of you. Because, you know, we always gonna ride for you. And I'm like, okay, B's on TV. Let me watch. What is this? I don't want to talk about stripping. But then I'm like engrossed in every episode, to the point where I think the last episode of the last season, it took me a month to watch it because I was so distraught and so emotionally entangled in the story arc. And I was like, I'm not ready to know what happens next. I just can't. I can't look at this. And I needed to process. And it's curious for me that you are in this show, because when you're talking about, I want to use the word love. When you're talking about love and you're talking about community and you're talking about specifically the way that men show up in love and community, you are one of the people who I look to who is really working through what 21st century manhood looks like, right? And so I am, it's serendipitous for me that you are, as the human that you are, is in that piece of art that it is. It makes me feel really excited about life in general. But I'm curious about your relationship with the show as an artist and as a human who is navigating the future.
Yeah. You know, I think that my relationship with P-Valley has, to your point about the future, allowed it to become that it is a forecast. It is prescriptive in a lot of ways because, as you suggest, it shows a lot of men and folks who are, and not centering men, but just because I think that men got a lot of shit to work on, that we warrant a little bit of airtime and consideration, but it, through all the characters who identify as men or not or somewhere in between, are really showcasing new versions of manhood and masculinity. And my character, Woadie, I think does that in some really important ways through his relationship with his main friend and compadre, who identifies as sexually, as bisexual, and knowing the challenges that folks from the LGBTQIA plus community have faced over eons. That character, Woadie, being able to not only show some grace, but love and compassion for his main guy, I think is an important offering that the writers and producers have crystallized in this show. But there are also so many instances of like, and I can't wait for y'all to see season 3, because there are even more opportunities for some of the, the male characters to really demonstrate new pathways. And so I am so honored every time I go to work to just be around that group of creatives, to be working with actors who recognize, as you suggest, that this is a really unique and powerful opportunity as creatives to breathe life into Katori Hall and the rest of the writing team's work. And so, yes, I think that we do approach it with a type of reverence that I don't think is typical for a lot of, shows. And I can't speak to other folks' experiences, but it feels like a different kind of work. It feels like the work. And I'm grateful for that.
It feels like that as an audience member too. It feels like we are doing a particular kind of work as a community through this show, and it is interesting to me to talk to people about the episodes as they unfold, to see like where people are. Like where people are with the subject matter, where they are with like women who are working in this particular context, with the men who are dealing with all the things that they're dealing with, and the way everybody's interacting with together, right? And it's I have talked to cisgender heterosexual men who at first were like, absolutely not to this whole show, but watched it because their girl or their wife or their whoever was like, you gonna watch this with me? And by the end, the journey that they went on, Bertram, but that's the power of art, right?
And it is truly a tool in that way. And
that's right.
Yeah, that is so exciting to hear every time.
That's
right. I got partners who had that same convo, like, bro.
I bet.
You know.
I don't know about this.
But now they sending me predictions in the DM, like bought in.
Right. I'm so excited about season 3. I cannot. I'm so excited. One, because now P-Valley is one of my favorite shows, just like it is. And I don't. At this point, TV is very disappointing to me. I like just listen to audiobooks all the time. But I'm super excited about, there's a couple things I'm excited about this fall, but one of them is most certainly P-Valley. And I'm excited, one, because I'm just want to know what's happening to my TV friends. Like, are they okay? But I'm also excited to see you more on screen, because season 2, I would argue that you were the big, like, surprise excitement. Like you were the sucker punch of season 2 for people, and like you showed up in a way that everybody was like losing it. And so you have a different kind of like market share on the screen now, and I'm really, really, really curious to see what happens with Woadie, and to see how much more time you get on screen, because you deserve to be on screen every frame, in my opinion.
Sweet.
And I won't ask you any questions about season 3 because I know you can't share, and I don't want to be mad at you. But I just want you to know that we're all very excited about season 3.
Yeah, I'm equally excited, and I'm reading the pages, and I'm so inspired by the writers and the way that they are really helping this story to unfold. And so I'm excited for y'all. Have you all finished
filming season 3 yet? Or are you still in the middle of this filming?
We're still in process. I'm in Atlanta right now. Actually, as soon as I hop off with you, I'm headed to set to
on. You fancy?
No, I'm just going to work.
Just going to work. Just going to get my lunchbox. Going to work. Legit. Have you read the entire season 3 script? Do you know everything's going to happen yet? You haven't gotten all your pages.
No, I don't know everything, but I know a lot.
It's a mystery to everyone. It's very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, so so our season 6 of the podcast theme is love. And so I want to close by having this conversation with you. And this may not be fair to you, but when I think about Bertram Williams and love in the same sentence, I can't help but think about Taliba. Taliba, who is another dear friend of mine, because all my friends are fancy, and who was on the podcast season before last, maybe she was on. And I remember the day I met you, but I also remember the first day I met Taliba, because you introduced me to her. And there is something about your relationship that is really healing to a lot of people. Just to see you all together, and just to understand the work that you're doing together, the life that you're building together, the art that you're making together is really quite magnificent. And so I would love to hear you not talk about Taliba, but talk about love and what love has done for your life and the way that you show up in the world.
It's my background going crazy. Like y'all hearing all kind of rockets taking off and stuff.
We can hear a little bit of stuff, but it's fine. But now all we can see is your microphone, Bertram. Move your camera back away.
That's not all you can see. Okay. I was trying to
It's
bring it in
fine.
to compensate for some of the stuff. But
No need. You're good.
alright, so it's funny because I've been reading on and off this book called The Spirit of Intimacy by
Mm-hmm.
Sobunfu Some. I think that's the way you pronounce her name. And in it, she talks quite a bit about romantic relationships. Well, she talks about, relationships at large within the context of the tribe. But when talking about romantic relationships, she really lauds this idea of people who are in relationship not centering the romantic elements, but so as to allow
Yeah.
the love that flows through them to really be of service to the tribe, to the village, and to the community. And so I was reading that, and today was talking to Taliba because we have never said that out loud or explicitly that we want our relationship to be of service in that way, other than like always kind of honoring our great grandmothers and grandmother and the way they showed up in community. And
Mm-hmm.
today, I mean, hours ago, I was like, I want us to be more intentional. I look forward to us being more intentional about, or in the way that we allow our relationship to just be not not a model, but of use, you know? And I think that, I'm super lucky because Taliba is lovely and she is one of my best friends and she fine. And so all of that is nice.
All of that.
That is really convenient, but I do feel so grateful that like through the work that we do, we get to be in community and in tribe with you, in tribe with,
Mm-hmm.
all the folks that we get to do community with. And so yeah, I look forward to more life with her and more like opportunities to create with her and the rest of the tribe. And um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one of these days we might be creating some more life. You know what I'm saying? Like we.
Hey, no, but no
Right.
pressure, no
Exactly.
pressure, no
Exactly.
pressure. Can you tell us a little bit about Mama Sundry and the kind of the first version of new life that you and Saliba have brought forth?
Exactly. Yeah. So we 3 years ago rebranded what was an e-commerce platform or brand that Taliba had built over time to essentially help create access for folks to have tools to live more like holistic lives. And so
Mm-hmm.
fast forward 3 to 4 years after a series of trials and product launches and community events and just being in conversation with community about this idea, we are now,
Yeah.
thanks to you and the Big We Foundation and the Southern Shift Initiative, like really about to launch this thing in a way that will hopefully connect more people with more tools and more information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a
Mm-hmm.
really neat time for Mama Sundry to be being almost reborn, or if not reborn, it's like entering its teenage phase, it's where it's walking on its own, or yeah, even
Puberty,
just a toddler
yes.
phase. And so, we are seeing this baby grow up at a time where we as creatives are kind of growing and our platforms
Yes.
are growing. And so that's a really neat intersection at a time when it is imperative for more people to be thinking about wellness in ways
Yeah,
that
that's
are
right.
motivated and urgent because there are a lot of things at play that stand to harm us if we aren't sharing information and accessing the tools we need to stay well. And so Mama Sundry is here to do that. And we invest in our time and our resource and invite more people to invest their time and resource to
Mm-hmm.
center this conversation.
I'm so proud of
I
y'all.
appreciate it. We're proud of
It's so
you.
great.
Yeah.
It's so great. So great. I feel so grateful to be your friend,
It's
Bertram.
mutual. I think that the way that we show up in NASA, let me say this and say it clear, like you are such a guiding light. Like I ain't putting you on the pedestal with Ben Lee, but when I think about our
Oh.
understanding of what's possible, you influence that in
Mm,
such a way. Just the general notions of that black abundance, but also care
that's
and
right.
entrepreneurship and being fly while navigating these spaces, like you are the epitome of that. And so we are equally thankful to
man,
you.
Bertram.
I mean that shit.
I know you mean it. That's why I'm like, oh gosh. Thank you, Bertram. Thank you. It's an honor to be friends with you and with Taliba. And it's an honor to be friends with you individually and as a couple. Because, sometimes you have a couple of friends and you just be like, oh, these are my friends. But, like, I love that I have this relationship with you all where we each have our own thing. And then I have a thing with y'all together. And it's really, really beautiful because they're three very different relationships.
And they all work together.
And it's wonderful. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go work. I'm going to let you go to work, Bertram. Okay. I'm not going to keep you no longer. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I hope you go have a very dramatic and amazing scene. I hope you win something for whatever you're about to go film right now.
Yep,
I hope that all of your crops flourish. I hope that your all of your literal crops, your figurative crops, your relationship crops, your business crops, your acting crops, your spiritual crops. I'm so grateful to your grandfather for making you who you are and for unleashing you onto the world. And I can't wait for you to release Big Pharma onto the world.
Let's go. I'm waiting on my management. Sign me up.
Word. And it's 5:55, so it's time to get off. Perfect. All
right.
I love you. I'll see you.
Love you too. Thank you, Anasa.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? Bertram is amazing. He's the best. I love being friends with him. It's so good. He's so good. I learned so much from him, and I'm so grateful that I associate him so closely with Memphis and my experience here. Bertram is like, I know we were joking, but Bertram really is one of the reasons why I knew I could move to Memphis, because I met him so early on. And he introduced me to so many people and was so kind and welcoming and supportive that I was just like, yeah, this is a place where I will have actual friends who I can actually trust and who are beautiful and wonderful and open-hearted, and I know I'll be safe here. So I'm grateful to him and to Liba and all the other folks associated with Bertram. So yeah, see, isn't he the best? Don't you love him? I know. I love him too. I know. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that, y'all. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. If you want more from the Weverse, you can find us on the internet, mostly on Instagram at The Big We. Also, you can totally follow me at Anasa Troutman. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I found out that, I actually do have a TikTok. It may or may not only have one post because I forgot I had a TikTok. I forgot, okay? I'm going to experiment with it. I promise. And, you can always send me a text message if you just want to say hi or talk about Blink Twice. It is 901-676-7372. I would love to shout out Walter Persons at Sunstorm Studios and Tim, who you didn't get to see Tim's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful camera work today because I'm not at home. I'm not in the studio. I'm in Detroit. Beautiful Detroit, looking out the river right outside my window today. So you didn't get to see Tim's work today, but he's going to be back next week. Our music today is from Ish Music for this whole season. And we have our beautiful illustrations from Marthias Wade. So when y'all know Marthias from last season, he did our visuals last season. He's doing them again. He did such a good job. Did you see that thing he drew of me and Carmi? I can't wait to see what he drew of me and Bertram. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, I have to go. I have a reception to get to. I have to get out of this hotel room. This has been a love offering from the Big We family. We will see you out in the Weverse. Massive, huge love to my Big We family and my Big We Foundation, Historic Cleveland Temple, the whole entire Weverse, but especially Renisha, who takes such good care of us in the podcast production life. From the House of Love, this is Anasa Troutman. I love you much.